Mount Hood Meadows is one of Oregon's largest ski resorts with an elevation of 7,300 feet, a vertical drop of 2,777 feet, 2,150 acres of skiable terrain, and on average they get 430 feet of snow a season. So you definitely can get some West Coast powder. Don't know if you would want it, but you can get it. Now this is our resort review series where we go to a brand new ski resort, we absolutely rip it, we shred it, we see what it has to offer, then we give the ski resort a score from 0 to 100. Now the way we're going to get that score is by going over 10 categories. Now each category gets a score from 0 to 10. 0 is not applicable, meaning they don't have it at all. 1 is terrible, 5 is average, and 10 is best in the world. Now this is just the grading scale we go by. You're just gonna have to deal with it. But the idea is to find out who is this resort for. And so that's what we're gonna do in today's video. We're gonna find out who Mount Hood Meadows is for. Now let's jump into our first category, lift prices. How expensive is it to go to Meadows in the winter time? Well, they do have dynamic pricing, meaning the price changes like constantly. A good average price they had this year was $150. But if you go in the dead season, that could drop dramatically. Or if you go peak season, that could increase insanely. I gave them a 6 for the dynamic because 150 is very average. But the fact that you could get it for very, very cheap is why I was like, I'll give them a 6 on the lift prices. Now lodging, ski in, ski out. Can you ski in, ski out at Meadows? Kind of, but no, they don't have any lodging for ski and ski out unless you have an RV. They actually have an RV parking, which is super rad. Most resorts do not do this. So if you're an RVer that's traveling around and going to ski resorts, you can actually stay here. So I gave them a 2 because it's unique. It's not at every single ski resort that they do this. So a 2 for lodging. Might be cheating. I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. Now, ease of access. How easy is it to get to Meadows? Well, if you flew into Portland, you're only looking at an hour and 30-minute drive up to Meadows, which is honestly is not that bad. The road up is super duper simple till like the very last stretch. You kind of have this like area by Silent Rock that like gets a little hairy in the winter time if it's snowing, you don't got the right vehicle, stuff like that. So normally it's a super simple drive, but it can get a little hairy for you. So when it came to ease of access, I gave them a 5 for the ease of access. Now, if you're wondering why we went to Mount Hood Meadows, it's because we have this crazy goal of riding every single ski resort in the United States, and you guys can track our progress by going to resortskimaps.com. Now, this is a map of every single ski resort in the United States. All of the green snowboarders are the places that we have been. You can click on them and watch the videos there. If you click on a red snowboarder, nothing's gonna pop up because we haven't been there yet. Now, you can click the top right-hand corner and see our upcoming schedule for the season, so you guys can come and shred with us for the upcoming year, which is really rad to shred with you guys. If it's not filled out, we might be making some changes or things might be happening. So just stay tuned. We will get our schedule posted in there. But overall, resortskimaps.com is like the way I plan all of my vacations and like routes and like how we're gonna ride these resorts. It's really the raddest tool for skiers and snowboarders. You can even organize it by Epic or Icon, whatever pass you have. So check out resortskimaps.com, see the resorts that are near you that you wanna go ride or the state that you wanna go ride in. It's super insane. Now lifts, we gotta get up the mountain, and Mount Hood Meadows has 11 chairlifts to get you up there. I think 6 of them are high speed, which are really rad, and they have 1 surface lift. That being said, none of them were crazy fancy, no bubbles, no gondolas, no chondolas, nothing like that. Just your typical high-speed chairlift. So I gave them a 5, an average for chairlifts. Like, none of the lifts like wowed me. But the runs, we gotta get down the mountain, and they have 87 runs, but they have Super Bowl and Heather Canyon. These are their standout items that they have at Mount Hood Meadows. Super Bowl is this massive bowl above Heather Canyon. So if you ride that, you're gonna ride into Heather Canyon. But Heather Canyon is also just like a iconic place where people go to ski and snowboard. Sadly, when I went to Meadows, it was closed, but we'll get into Heather Canyon. I have seen it not only in the wintertime, but I've also seen it in the summertime. And it looks really rad. All of Meadows is way steeper than Timberline, their neighboring ski resort. So if I was to pick between the resorts in Oregon on a powder day, I'm picking Meadows. It's steeper, it's radder. And of course they have Super Bowl and Heather Canyon. So I gave them a 7 when it came to runs at Meadows. Now the terrain park. Now I knew Timberline had a good terrain park, but when I went to Meadows, I was slightly blown away. They got big jumps, they got a half pipe, it's open at nighttime. Same with some of their runs are open at night. They had multiple parks across the mountain and the rails were sick. They had one with like a bell on it. It was really sick. I got it! Good jumps, built well, super flowy. Like, I really enjoyed their terrain park. Sadly, the bigger park, I showed up on a really rough day. The bigger park was kind of shut down most of their features, so we rode their smaller, medium-sized park, and it was a ton of fun still. So when it came to the park, I gave them an 8 for terrain park. Definitely, like, Oregon knows how to build parks. Now, if you're enjoying this video and you want to support this dream of riding every single ski resort in the United States, you guys can do that by snagging an Evolution sticker. We even have ski versions for all the skiers out there, but if you snag the sticker, throw it on the side of your helmet, let everyone know you're part of Team Buckhouse. That really does support the dream. That's where our travel budget comes from. So you guys snagging the merchandise, whether that's the stickers or the shirts or whatever, it really means the world to me. If you snag it, tag me on Instagram and I'll give you guys gear and sticker shout outs in my vlogs. Now, food, you're gonna get hungry on the mountain. You're gonna wanna eat, and they have a decent amount of options, a coffee bar, a couple places to eat. I personally ate at their main lodge and the food was delicious. They had a different variety from like Asian to American to, I don't know, all kinds of varieties of food. It wasn't just like your typical resort food. It was a little on the upper scale, a little pricey, but I gave them a 7 for food. It was actually really good food, and the quantity, amount they gave you was way too much. I couldn't even finish my serving. Now, views and scenery. How gorgeous is the view from Mount Hood Meadows? Well, if you've ever been on Mount Hood, you'd understand. I can't explain, even though you're not looking at like crazy mountains everywhere else, just being on the mountain, the views consume you. The whole experience is a view. Not only because right above you is Mount Hood, which is like, that's the view, period. Then you turn around and you're like, I'm like the highest thing around. I'm not even that crazy high in the elevation. It's so rad, it's so unique. I gave them an 8 for views and scenery. You just gotta live it. You gotta go. Now, employees, how sick are the employees? We cover employees because of the Keystone incident we had. You can check it out right here. But I also think employees kind of weigh into like the vibe, the experience of the overall ski resort. You know, if you have employees that are grumpy and kind of not having a good time, that kind of affects the vibe of the whole ski resort. But also you can have an employee make or break your day. They could give you the proper rental stuff because they cared about you, or they can give you the wrong stuff that doesn't fit you because they're just trying to rush you out. They didn't care type of situation. So employees score matters. And this one might be a little jaded because my buddy Javo works there and he's a super rad dude, super nice, super charismatic. So I gave him a 9 for employees because I don't want to inflate Javo's ego too much by giving him a 10, but Javo made my experience on the mountain way better. He took me around real quick, showed me the mountain, which was super rad. Now, obviously that's not gonna happen for all of you guys, but I know if you are a person there and you had questions, Javo would give you the same experience that he gave me. And he's a manager, he has a whole bunch of people underneath him, and I know his crew also carries that vibe. So I gave him a 9 for employees. I'm sure everyone, I didn't get to meet everyone at Meadows, but I'm sure all of them are super rad. But also all the lifties and people giving the food, all of those people were also really rad and nice. And the guys in the lodges, I got Roma snowboard there. It was a good experience for employees. Now, the last category, the would I go back factor, because if I wouldn't go back to a ski resort, why would I recommend it to you guys? And when it came to Meadows, I would absolutely go back, not only because there's things that I wanted to ride that I didn't get to do, but the park was super fun and the mountain was just fun. And there's so much to do there, you're not gonna get bored. So I gave him a 10 on the would I go back, mainly because Super Bowl looks insane, Heather Canyon looks insane, and then just like the park is so good. It's like you could go again and again and again, and like, you know, it's a park you could ride every single day. Now, before I give you the score from 0 to 100, I just want to mention that we have so many resort reviews, and you can check all of those out by checking out the resort review playlist right here, or by going back to resortskimaps.com. We literally have all of these listed on the resort as well. You can see who got the highest score so far. Once again, that's resortskimaps.com. So out of 100, what did Meadows get? It got a subscribe. A 67 out of 100, which is a far above average ski resort. Meadows is super rad, super insane, but who is this resort really for? I would say this resort's honestly for anyone. If you're an extreme rider, they got Super Bowl and Heather Canyon and a bunch of other rad stuff. If you're a beginner, they had a fun little rad learning area with plenty of space. The park rider is gonna be stoked, and then they get an insane amount of snow. So if you like powder, West Coast powder, but you can have some fun out there. But with all that being said, Team Buckhouse, thank you so much for shredding with me today, and as always, thanks for watching. Keep evolving. We'll see you tomorrow in another video. It's daily on the channel. We do stuff like this daily.